My little gore friends, and welcome back to another goretober video. In this video we will be covering prompts 15 to 22. I hope I'm right. Let me double check that. Yeah, I was right. It's 15 to 22. Now for the first one, it looks growths. So this video, I'm not going to do the stories like I did last time. I just don't know if you guys liked it or not, so I'll do like a mix of both because I haven't posted the videos yet. I have them scheduled, but they are not posted. So I will be going into the process, what I was thinking, like any ideas for reference I had for them, and just stuff like that. As I said, this first one that we're going to be talking about is gross. Let's get into it. So for this piece, I was pretty unsure what to do. Honestly, having growths on your body is growths, like random like bulges and stuff like that, like growing from your skin, is honestly terrifying and a very big health concern. So yeah, I did this one pretty quickly. Most of these are pretty quick, so I had to slow them down, but I just decided for this one I'm just gonna have her cheeks bulging and then have one of her eyes bulging as well, and then give her a more chilled, laid back look. I think this one only took me like a half hour. Honestly, at this point my iPad charger wasn't wanting to work and I can't replace it, so it's kind of fighting against time. So I went pretty simple with this piece, nothing special. I didn't really enjoy doing it, if I'm being honest. I just kind of threw some shit together and hoped for the best. That's what I did. Also, Cruella de Vil vibes from her. I had some blood at the mouth because why not? And I did remember to take my work in progress shots for this piece. So yeah, that piece wasn't very special. On to the next one though. Now this one was wax. And I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do? How do I make wax a goretober drawing? Like, how? So I decided to go with more of a dolly look for this character. And for now, I didn't use reference for any of these. I'm just going to be clear about that. So for this piece, I went for a dolly kind of look to it. I wanted her to look more empty or soulless. I wanted her to be in a bathrobe, kind of like you would get at a spa, I guess. If you play The Sims, you know. And I just wanted her to look kind of dull or emotionless. So I tried to go for that. And then as I was doing this, I'm like, okay, what can I do? Beauty is pain is a phrase you hear a lot, and I'm like, well, a lot of women wax their legs, so that could be like the situation here, but it's taken to the extreme. I did the coloring like I normally would. I didn't do anything too special with it. I used airbrush a lot in this piece, and then I decided that the floor should be hot wax and look kind of like lava, so I did this weird pattern. I don't think it reads necessarily that well, but it's whatever. And I overused the airbrush on this piece. I was like into like the airbrush shit, honestly, I guess. So I was feeling it. This piece, now looking at it, I kind of like it. It's not my favorite, but it's not my worst. So for this piece, I didn't really do much. I did get a couple work in progress shots. I didn't get all of them though. But on to the next one. This one was the one I was actually most excited for, and it's Bloodbath, my absolute favorite. So let's get on to that here in a second. I may just do a little bit more ranting about it just because it is my favorite piece, so mind that. So for this piece, I had a specific idea in mind. So I did this. This was like one of my favorites, and I did it like really quickly too because I was so excited. Specifically for this prompt, it was the one I was looking forward to the most. So I started with the bath and the background, and then I added in the character, shifted the position a little bit, just to make it look better because it was looking weird at first. Another thing I started doing is, like, if I don't want characters to have a specific expression or I want them to look more lifeless, I've started not drawing the pupil, and you'll see me do that later on in this part, and I think it added to that creepy kind of possessed look this character gave. I am sorry, my throat hurts, and I am a little sick right now. So let me finish. I did that ugly green color for your bath because I just felt like it fit the vibe. I also did blue walls and a white door and a brown cabinet in the background. I colored the liner just a little bit, not too much. Oh, my voice is going all kooky. I then started shading the background. I didn't know what I wanted to do with the light source, but this is one of my favorite pieces. This and pastel gore are definitely one of my favorites that I've done, honestly. It took a while to work on the background. I do come back to it because that's not how it stays. And then I started doing the blood in the bath, making it actually look like blood, and working on that. So you can see me doing that now. So, and then I go back to the background, sadly, because I didn't want to work on her before the background was finished, but I still think I work on it even after, because I just wasn't pleased with it. I started playing with colors and just stuff like that, trying to figure out what works and what didn't. Then I started work on her. At this point, I was getting kind of tired and I didn't want to work anymore. But I still kept it up. Still kept working on it. And honestly, the final result, I am so excited for you guys to see. So, yeah. So I started just adding more white to her face so her eyes and her teeth pop out more. I blushed a little bit of her, and then I did... What was that flash? I did some basic lighting, and then I played around with some noise and stuff like that. Here's the work in progress shots, and here's the final piece. I did add a glitch effect, and oh my goodness, is it my favorite piece I've done so far. So the next one was Cenobites. I think I'm saying that right. I hope I am. So I didn't know what that was, so I looked it up, and apparently it's from Hellraiser, specifically Pinhead, those creatures. And that was my grandpa's favorite fucking movie. So I did have to do like a little bit of a better job on this one. It was a little bit of a pressure because I didn't want to do horrible on it, specifically since my grandpa loved the movie. So I came up with this, and I'm honestly pretty happy about it. It doesn't look as bad as Growth does in my eyes. I think I did pretty much a good job on it, especially for not knowing what to do and just following like no reference at all for the wires, but I tried. I really tried on this piece. So yes. And another thing you should notice is I started sketching in white and then going over with my liner straight away, and I don't really spend time on the sketches. So this one does have a couple imperfections in the face, but I think it still works with those imperfections, and I think they actually make the piece better, which actually surprised the hell out of me because usually I'm very picky with it. But with this piece, I think those imperfections really worked to complement this piece. And I think the coloring did work out pretty well, and usually I struggle with coloring because my pieces usually end up too muddied or too dark. In my opinion, I do like the moody lighting and moody coloring, so I tend to do darker, more muted palettes, and I don't often do those brighter tone palettes, but I do find myself having to often edit my colors and just go on it. And this is another piece I was also using the airbrush too much. I was lazy, okay? I was feeling lazy. I just popped out the airbrush, put it on a lower set or opacity, and then pretty much called it a day. I added some blue to the iris because I felt like it would make the piece pop, and then I bloomed it and added my normal stuff to it, sharpening, aberration, and I can't say that right, but okay. I love that piece, honestly. So the next one was religion, I believe. This one is where kind of got me a little bit stuck, I guess. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know the pose or anything like that. Oh no, it's not religion. It's torture. Yeah. So this is the one where I switched to doing everything on my phone. I started the sketch on my iPad, but had to switch over to my phone because my iPad was only at 20%. And like I said, I can't charge it right now because of my cord not working. So, sorry, my voice is just driving me up a wall today. Clothes for torture, non-existent because I didn't know what the frick to put her in. Because I've drawn rags at this point so much, like clothing that's torn and like raggedy. I didn't want to do that, so I just decided to make this character skinny, hanging upside down, kind of like you would see on those like pin boards where they spin the person around and then they throw knives at them in the movies, you know. So I just kind of blocked out the private bits so I didn't have to draw them, and I could still post this. I also tore off her jaw, as you can see. Yes. And then she was too big for like the frame I have her in, so I cut off her hands as well. I figured that fit anyway. I did blood on the walls and underneath her. I added shadows. You can see me fix the hair later because I got pissed off with it. It didn't look right, so I fixed it. There it is, as I'm speaking about it. I bloomed it. I started adding like very minimal shading. I didn't want to do too much for this piece, so you can see I didn't do all that much. I wanted it to make it look like all the blood was draining to her head, so her lower body is more cool toned while her upper body is more warm toned. So I hope that came across. Now the next one is religion. That's the one I didn't know what the fuck to do. I'm so sorry about that, but I'm not editing it out because I'm trying to get this done and posted and scheduled. So religion, I decided to do a nun. In the end, somebody praying was the sketch I got, and then I decided originally I wanted her to look like she was in a cathedral, but then I got too lazy, so I'm just like, I'm gonna draw a nun. And I drew this without a reference to nuns and only limited knowledge on their clothes, so let's pray I did good on that because I've just been on this streak of not wanting to use references as much, so I haven't. The only time I did use a reference for this piece was to do the hands, and I didn't directly trace the reference or like do like a study off the reference. I just kind of eyeballed it. So yeah, I'm getting better here. I'm getting better. I wanted the main focus of this piece to be on the face, so she has no pupil. And I blacked out one of her eyes. This could also work for eye trauma, I guess. I've done a lot of pieces that could work for other prompts on this list for some reason. I put most of her face in shadow, but then I fixed it with the lighting so you could see it pop. I added a bounce lighting effect with red at the bottom, and then I did my normal stuff with noise and aberration, or whatever it's called when you have red and blue that kind of split. Yeah, I like the piece. It's not bad. It's not my favorite that I've done, but it's not the least favorite. I am going to rank my drawings in the final one, and I'll also put like the total hours I spent on all these pieces. The next one was historical event. Now this one, I didn't know what to do because I didn't want to be insensitive about anything. So immediately I rolled out the 9/11 and the concentration camps because those were like thoughts, because those are the ones I think about most when I think about historical events. So I decided this piece wouldn't be gory like the other ones. I decided to sacrifice that element completely because I didn't want to be insensitive about anything. I went with BLM, Black Lives Matter, because at this point it should be considered a historical event, honestly. Pretty much was, and my mom agrees, so that's all that matters, I guess. I did these little bobbleheads because I didn't feel like drawing actual human heads, because I was tired. This was a low energy day, I guess. I took and made them all different skin tones. I even did one with vitiligo, but the colors of this piece don't actually matter because I end up turning it black and white. You'll see it right here. Yep. And I did hearts to kind of mimic the online following, because there was a lot of people online, me too, as I was online as well, watching the whole all the riots and shit, and kind of quietly supporting because I couldn't do anything because I was a child, but I wanted to help, but I couldn't because I'm also very poor. So I was just sharing videos left and right, I believe, during that time. But that's the piece I did for Black BLM. Black Lives Matter. There we go. Brain don't want to work tonight, I guess. But that's what I did for that one. The next one is Urban Legends, and this is going to be our last piece for this video. Now, Urban Legends, I was originally going to do one from Michigan because that is the state I live in, but the one that I could find was the Night Rouge, and I decided that I did not want to draw a red imp, because I felt that felt boring. So I went back to my creepypasta days, and I drew Slender Man. I'm sorry. I drew Slender Man for this. I don't know if he counts, but in my heart he does. I gave him a slutty little waist too, because why not? This piece I just finished, so it's still fresh in my mind as I'm rewatching the speed paint. All I can think about is how small I made his fucking legs and how big his upper body is. I mean, he has an interesting silhouette. I give it that. But I give Slender Man a slightly little waist. I'm sorry. He ain't got no hips either, though. I hate drawing forests, even though I tend to draw them a lot. I hate drawing trees. It's on sight. Me and trees have beef because no, I don't want to draw them. And so you can see me avoid that by blacking out around him. There's me cleaning up his silhouette and then doing the background. I had to blow down this tree because I hate this tree. Fuck that tree in particular. There's not too much to say. I ended up blacking out most of the drawing. I wanted it to look like somebody has a flashlight on him. He doesn't look that tall, and I hate that. I wish I could change that, but I'm already done with the piece. I ain't fucking with it. I added static, noise. I added more than I usually would because Slender Man. And then I added my little Charlie ghosts. If you know in my signature, I always signed with the little ghost guy, and his name is Charlie. That's a little lore drop. That's Charlie. We love Charlie. He is my child. So I put Charlie ghost around Slender Man. Yeah. Honestly, when I think about Slender Man, I can only remember the cringe days of me being a fucking Jeff the Killer fangirl. Cause oh my god, what was I doing? I'm in so much pain. I had mental issues. And yes, I was like one of the fangirls that was into like the Stockholm Syndrome aspects. I don't know why. I just liked reading stories like that for some reason, and where he was just a dick to you. Toxic trait of mine, I guess. But now that I'm older and kind of out of the fandom, I still am in the fandom to a certain extent, but I'm not like into the fandom, honestly. First fictional crush I had, though, it just had to be Jeff the Killer. Just had to be that fucking weird. Why? There was Toby. There was Tiki Toby. There was Eyeless Jack. Hell, even Laughing Jack. And Jason the Toymaker. And I went with fucking Jeff the Killer. My taste is just horrible. I'm gonna be mean to myself about that, because that is I had questionable taste. No shame to liking Jeff the Killer, though. There is some hot fan art of that motherfucker. I'm not gonna even deny it. Honestly, artists carried the creepypasta fandom. Let me just be honest. They did. But anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys are excited for the next one that should be coming out in like a week or so after this one's posted. I don't know. It may be the Halloween one. But we will see how long that video ends up being and how many I get done in it. If you like these videos, please be sure to like and subscribe. If you haven't seen the ones prior to this, I do suggest you go and check it out if you have enjoyed this one. I did some awesome pieces in those as well, so I really hope you guys like my art and my work, and I hope you guys are having a great day. Have a nice Halloween.